Hello, everybody. Welcome along to the stream. Thank you for joining me for our second day. So hopefully you've all had a chance to go back and look at the other video. And if you want to join in, you've loaded up yesterday's work. Here's Holly. She interrupted yesterday's stream with a barking hello. So she's come along to say hello in today's stream. So if you hear her, this is what she looks like. She's usually pretty well behaved, but if she sees a pigeon in the garden, you might hear her bark and run off. So hopefully she's nice and quiet. Just pop it down there. Okay, cool. Who have we got in chat today then? Who have we got? Say hello if you're in chat, guys. Oh, there's a pigeon. Are we there? Let's say hello. Ooh. Are we there, guys? Right, let's get cracking, guys, because I think we'll catch a few more people as they come into the stream. But let's get going. So you'll see on the screen I've already been working on something. I'm actually going to get rid of that and we'll rebuild it. But that's fine. Okay, let's have a look. Let's get Scratch up and let's go. So what I've actually built here does this. I'll show you what it does. So we've got this new sprite that I've made, and I've got some new variables and stuff. Let's go full screen first and show you what it does. So I'm going to click go. Hopefully you'll see that it's moving around the screen and it's bouncing off the walls and it's slowly turning, and there is a little bit of randomness in it, so the way it turns, just so it's not super predictable, which I will share with you now. So that's the kind of thing we're making, and this is going to be my enemy sprite. So this is going to be something that we're going to have to try and avoid. So for example, now it would be crashing into us. So let's get to making that. So I'm going to actually delete that sprite and delete all the code with it. It's going to go, and we're going to start fresh. So this is where we were yesterday. We had our go, and we made the rocket boosters go, and we could press spacebar, and we could actually move it around like that. So that's where we should be. Let's make a new one. Let's make a new sprite, and that's going to be our enemy sprite. So I'm just going to stop it, just so it stops animating, and I'm going to make a brand new sprite. So to do that, I go to the very bottom here, and I click on paint because I'm going to make my own sprite now. You'll have noticed that my first sprite that I made was a little unusual in its shape, and that was deliberate. I kind of wanted it to be as interesting shape as possible, so when it bounced off the wall, it would bounce in unusual ways. So that was kind of the thinking behind that. So I'm going to try and make a new one now. So let's get drawing. So I'm just going to use the shape tool. So this one I'm going to make this one a circle. So I'm going to make it a circle, and I'm going to fill that circle in. Let's choose a colour to fill it in. Let's go for aliens are green. I think that's what I decided. Aliens are green. So we're going to have a green alien, but I'm going to give it some little bendy arms. So I'm going to draw a straight line. And here's a brand new tool for Scratch. This is new. It bends straight lines. So if I click in the middle of this line, I can bend it, and I can give it sort of weird bendy arms that will make it kind of an odd shape, and a little bit more difficult to avoid, if anything. So this is kind of a bit of fun. I can always move it afterwards as well. Let's give it a third. Let's give it 3 arms. It's an alien after all, so why should it have 2 arms? Awesome. Okay, so there's my alien. Now, if I look at my screen, he is massive. He's a big alien. Now, last thing we need to do is scare anybody at home. We don't want aliens to be too big and too scary, so we're going to reduce the size. And if you go down here, you've got size is 100. So I'm going to reduce this down to, let's try 50 and see what that looks like. Okay, that's smaller, but I'd like it smaller still. So let's try 10. That's too small. Okay, so we're going to have to go somewhere in between. So let's try 25. 25 looks okay to me. I can work with 25. We can always adjust it later if we don't like the size of it. So I've got my alien person now, and now I'm going to think about actually what can I do for programming this little alien. So I'm going to go and look at some algorithms now to make him move around the screen. And you saw before, what we're doing is we're going to try and make it so that it bounces off the walls and there's a bit of randomness in his movement, so it's not really easy to avoid. So let's see. Let's go to the code. Okay. Is we're going to try and. Hey Bobby, you alright? Thanks for joining me in the chat. That's really good. So let's look at some of the code for this. So we're actually moving him around a bit. Let's get him moving. So first thing I'm going to do is just do some really simple movement. I'm just going to get him to move 10 steps. That'll just move him forward every time we click go. Let's get the when we click go. Awesome. Okay, so when we click go, it will move 10 steps. So at the moment it does that and then it stops. So it's clear we need it to keep moving throughout the game, not just when we click go. So we're going to get it to repeat that movement forever. Okay, so if I click that now, we'll see that he keeps moving and he keeps moving until he's gone. So we need to get him back. So I'm going to use that trick I showed you the other day, where if you go to motion and you get the go to block, and you can go to 0, 0, and then double click it, it will go to the middle of the stage. Actually, it's hidden under my rocket there. I can grab it. Okay, so we need to think when it gets to the edge of the screen, we want it to bounce. We want it to bounce and then come back. And there is a block for that. Now, is it in motion? Yes, it is. It's got the if on edge bounce block. So if I put that in there, it will move 10 steps and then it checks if it's on the edge. If it is on the edge, it will bounce. So let's see if that works. Awesome. So you can see it's going left and right and left and right. It's going to carry on doing that forever. But if I made that into my game, I'd be very easy to avoid because I'd just move up here, and I've avoided it successfully. So I want it to be a bit more random than that. So let's stop it and let's give it some turn. Let's give it some turn. So let's turn that way. So if I put it turn 15 degrees in and press go, just have a look, see what happens. So I've sort of made it just go around in circles, which is again not that hard to avoid. So that's almost too much. Hey Finn, thank you for joining me. I hope you're enjoying these and you're tuning in every day and joining in. And please do ask me any questions if you've got any. That'd be fantastic. So let's see. I don't want it to go straight and I don't want it to go round and round in circles. So I could make it fewer degrees. Instead of being 15-degree turn, I could think about it maybe a 1-degree turn, like a very small turn, and see what that does. Okay, well that's quite interesting because it isn't just going left and right or up and down. It's actually kind of moving its way across screen. I quite like that. That's quite good. I wonder what happens. All right. Ooh. Oh, that is good. So it's sort of always moving in a quite unpredictable way. I like that. I think I'm going to leave it like that. Well, I did have a variable before, but I don't think it's necessary. I think that's overcomplicating the code. Now, because I've made that variable, I actually want to hide it. So I'm going to get rid of it. Okay, right. So we've got this enemy, it's moving around the stage, but the obvious problem is nothing happens when we touch. So there's no problem when we collide. There isn't really a game in this other than I can sort of pretend, but it'd be even better if when they touch the game ended. So let's have a look at doing that. So we're going to have to think about some sensing here. We're going to have to look at some of the blue blocks. how we can program it so that they kind of interact with each other as they're going. So let's stop that there. Let's go to sensing, and we've got this touching block immediately. Right. So if I grab that and I can use this touching block, so this is touching mouse pointer, but I want it to say when it's touching my rocket. Now my rocket is called sprite 1. Well, let's go and change its name now. So I'll click on the sprite, go to the sprite here, and I'm going to call it rocket because that makes it easier for me to understand. And this is going to be alien 1. And I'm going to say alien 1 because maybe I want to add some more later on. We'll see. Okay, so let's see, now it says touching and I've got rocket edge or mouse pointer. So I want rocket. So if it touches the rocket, no, at the moment it doesn't say if it touches the rocket, it just says touching rocket. I'm going to need an if. So let's go to control and I can get this if block. Now there's a bit of a clue here because we've got that shape, haven't we? That's very similar to this shape, and that's a clue that these will fit in together. And if you click this and just put the left hand edge of it into the shape, it will fit in. So I now got if touching the rocket then, and I'm going to do quite a simple one. I'm just going to do stop all to begin with because that will just stop everything. So that'll at least show me that the game's ended. So let's put this into an event. So the event we're going to start with is when the green flag's clicked. Now, I'm going to let you into a secret here. This isn't going to work. Watch. So here I am, and when they touch, nothing happens. Now, why is that? Why did that not work? Well, this is a mistake I see all the time. And sometimes I make the mistake and I think, oh, why hasn't that worked? The reason is, if you look at our algorithm here, the computer does exactly as it's told. So when the green flag is clicked, it checks to see if the rocket is touching the alien or the alien's touching the rocket. And if it is, it will stop everything. But it only checks it when you click the green flag. So literally the second where you go, click, it checks, and then it doesn't check again. We need our computer to keep checking over and over and over again all the way throughout the game. So it's checking every single second, every single millisecond to see if they're touching. So we need to make sure that it keeps doing it over and over again, and for that we're going to use another forever loop. Okay, so now I've got forever if touching the rocket, then stop also. This time I'm pretty confident it's going to work. Fingers crossed. Oh, well, I'm touching them straight away, so that was pretty quick. Okay, so now you can see when they touch, the game stops. That's really good. So that proves that my algorithm works. Now, I'm actually going to reduce the size of my rocket a bit here because it's a little bit too big. It's quite tricky for me to keep avoiding him now. Let's just play with this for a minute, see if I can successfully avoid our alien. Oh, I did not successfully avoid our alien for very long. Let's try again. Now, immediately I've come into a bit of a problem here. I've clicked go again, and they're already touching. So they're already stopping the game. So I need to actually separate them out so when the game starts, our rocket's in one place and our alien is in another place. So what I'm going to do, somebody put it in a forever loop. Very good. Oh, I like that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have a look now at making a start position for our two things. So if I start my alien up in this corner, and if I start my rocket in this corner, and I'm just going to turn it as well, then I should be able to tell them to start there. So when the game starts, I want them to go to those positions. Now, here's a really good trick that you'll notice in Scratch is if you move your sprites, it actually moves the values on these blocks. So if I want them to go to a certain location, I can move them, and it will change the coordinates that it's set as. So I'll get it right down in there, and then say, right, those are the coordinates you are in it right now. At the very start of the game, I'm going to put it in this algorithm here. I want you to go to there. So when the green flag's clicked, go to there. And I'll do the same for this guy. So he's in this top corner, and we are going to go to there. Okay, so when I click go, oh, good work, Finn. Well figured out. So when we click go, they're in different corners. Okay, so let's see if I can survive. Oh, well, I am the worst astronaut known to man, apparently, because I went straight into the aliens. Don't do that. Let's try again. Oh, try and sneak past. Oh, my game is really difficult. Okay, right, I've got it this time. I know what I'm doing. Yes, I snuck past. Okay, cool. So let's keep going now. This is great, and you can sort of see how long I can survive for. But I want to add like a score and see if I can get top scores and things. So it's all very well surviving, but I want to be able to measure how well I've done. So I'm going to add a score in. So let's go to our variables. Let's make a new variable. Let's go one called score. Okay, and we're going to. I'm going to put this code into the backdrop. Now, a lot of the time we put our code on sprites, but this code will apply to everybody. So we're going to put it in the backdrop. So I'm going to say we're going to set the score to 0, and we're going to change the score by 1. Okay, and we'll say, right, so when it starts, set the score to 0, and then I want it to repeat forever by changing the score by 1. Okay, so if you watch the score now, we've got our score variable. If you watch that, see what happens to it as we go along. Right. Do you know what? I've done the same thing that I've done the last 2 days, haven't I? I haven't changed the name of my variable. That's why it didn't change on score. So change not my variable, but change score by 1. Okay, let's try again. Okay, you can see that the score is rocketing up, which I suppose is probably quite appropriate for a rocket game. And there you go, I've got a score of 266 now. If I wanted to slow that down, I could think about putting a weight in there. So I could say, right, the score actually only goes up once every 0.1 of a second, and that slows it down a little bit, and you don't get quite such giddy scores, and we can move around. Okay, so we've done quite a lot there. We've made our enemy sprite, we've programmed the movement for our enemy sprite, we've made the game stop when they collide, and we've added a score in. So that's a pretty decent amount of work, but I wonder if we could just do a couple more things before we go. Let's see. I reckon we could probably think about. Could I do a game over screen maybe? I reckon we could. Yeah, let's have a go. Let's have a go at game over screen, guys. I think we can fit that in. So let's make an easy game over screen. So I'm going to go to the backdrops, and I'm going to paint some of my backdrops. So what I need to know from you guys is what colour should my game over screen be, because that's the most important thing, of course. What colour should it be? I'm going to write game over on it, while I'll wait for you guys to post in chat what colour you think it should be. We'll go with the most popular wins. We'll have a bit of democracy. No, that's not very good. Let's have black writing. So game over. Okay. Right. Oh, Bobby thinks blue. A minute, but Bobby's is the winning suggestion. We can have a blue background. Oh no, Finley comes in with black or red. I feel like I might have to compromise here. I might have to come in somewhere between. So I would try and do a bit of half and half. Right, okay, let's try and do a bit of half and half, guys. Let's see if I can manage this. So let's have a red half. and a blue half. I reckon I can manage that. So I'm going to have a red square on this side. And let's make another square. That's going to be our blue square. Over here. Oh, that's a red square. I need to change the colour of that one. What kind of blue am I after? That's the question. Let's go for a darker blue. Let's go for that. Okay, cool. Let's try and get it somewhere near the middle. I wonder. Oh, I can change the shape of a rectangle. That's interesting. I can bend it. Oh, now this is getting exciting. This is getting exciting. Now I can bend the shapes. Let's see if I can do a sort of a bendy background. Oh, now I like this. I like this a lot. I can have sort of a shape in the middle. Oh, this is very cool. Very cool indeed. Okay, right. My game over's gone away. So I think I've drawn on top of it. So I'm going to send this one backwards. I'm going to send this one backwards. There's my game over screen. Okay, guys. Oh, I need to stretch my red out a little bit. I think the compromise works, guys. I think it works really well. I think it looks good. Okay, so got a game over screen made, but now we need to make it used. And I also need to add another backdrop in because now I've only got my game over backdrop. So let's go here and let's paint a new one. And I'm just going to, for now, paint it very quickly in black. I might change my mind on that because I think black makes sense for space, but it might be too dark for my game, we'll see. It might be too dark, particularly if the alien's legs are black, actually, now I think about it. That's not going to be a great combo. Let's go for a different colour. Let's go for a sort of dark blue. If we can. Purpley blue. Yeah, okay. Cool. Yeah, that works. Okay. Right. So, I've now got two backdrops. I've got backdrop 1 and backdrop 2. But again, I wonder if I can change the names of those because that's a bit confusing for me. So I'm going to have game over and I'm going to have one that I'm going to call space, but it's blue, not black. Space. Okay, cool. So when we start the game, we want it to start on space, and then when they collide, when they hit each other, we want it to become a game over screen. So we need a bit of code here, and I think if we go into looks, there's the block we want, which is switch backdrop to, but I want to do it on the rocket or the alien. I'm going to do it on the alien. So there it is, switch backdrop to space. So when the game starts, not only is the alien going to go to that top right corner, but they're also going to change the backdrop to space. And then when they touch, before everything stops, I'm going to get it to switch backdrops to game over. Okay. Let's try that out. Let's test our algorithm here. So I'm going to click go. Right, so they're on their way. The alien is heading my way. I'm going to do my best to get out of the way. My score's going up. Oh, I've collided and it's game over. Awesome, that works. That's great. Let's just see if it resets properly. So I'll click go. Awesome. So we've got it. So it goes back to the normal screen before starting again. Now, I am noticing a bit of a problem here with my alien. My alien keeps just getting stuck in the corner. I wonder if I make it something like 1.5 degrees, if that will help. Let's just test it out. Does that stop it getting stuck in the corner? Yep, that seems to have done the trick. Okay, cool. Right, there's one last thing I want to fix before we finish today, which is I've noticed that the rocket faces, so when I move the rocket, let's say, if I move it along, so let's say I'm pointing that way when the game ends, let's go and get hit. So I'm pointing that way. When I click go, I'm still pointing that way, and I really want to be pointing sort of into the screen either that way or that way if I can. So let's see if I can do that. I can say point towards or point in direction. I reckon I want to point towards the... Oh, I'm on the alien. I need to go to the rocket. If I point towards the alien's in the top right hand corner. So if I point towards the alien, that should do it, I think. So let's slide that in there and let's test this out. So off we go. We start off and then we collide. I'm now so good at this game, I can't lose when I'm trying to lose, guys. Okay, so let's see if when I restart, is it pointed down and right, or is it started up and right? Yes. Let's give it a go. So let's start. It's pointed up and right. Awesome. Right, guys. What I would love is if you follow this tutorial, ideas for the game, things that you'd like me to do, because I think there's probably another day's worth in this. We could make it better. We could add more things in. So suggestions on what you do to make it better. That would be fantastic. But also, if there are any other ideas that you'd like to explore, that'd be really good. Thank you for joining me, guys. If you follow today, we've achieved a lot. We've done loads. So we've made an alien, made the alien move, made it when we collide with our alien that it stops our game. We made a game over screen. We made a score. And we've done lots of other things like making sure it points in the right direction and the sizes are right. So we've done absolutely loads. So big pat on the back if you've been following along. Big shout out to guys in chat. Emily, thank you for joining in. And I will be back tomorrow, same time, where we will continue this on. Thanks a lot, guys. Have a good evening and look after yourselves. Cheers, guys. Bye.